Have you ever wondered why just after waking up, you feel dizzy, tired, or even lose your balance? Many older people still think it's just a normal sign of aging, but the truth is much more subtle and concerning. There are small behaviors, repeated every morning, that seem harmless but silently create cracks in our health without us even realizing it. And then one day the body spoke suddenly and seriously. Mrs. Mary, 76 years old, used to be a healthy, active woman who lived alone and was always confident in her independence. But one seemingly normal morning, when she just got out of bed, she suddenly collapsed without even realizing what was happening. There were no warning signs, no obvious symptoms. Just seconds after opening her eyes, her whole world was turned upside down. And it was that incident that caused her and those around her to look back at familiar habits that had never been questioned. In fact, the scary thing is not in old age, but in the fact that we are so used to repeating daily habits without knowing that they are eroding stability, impairing circulation, disrupting the body's natural circadian rhythm, and putting the elderly at risk of falls, strokes, and gradual loss of autonomy. In this video, I will explore with you 5 common mistakes that elderly people often make every morning through Mary's story to then make small, gentle adjustments that can make a big difference. Keep your body healthy, your mind clear, and your life always full of freedom. Because sometimes the way you start your day is a prediction for your future. First mistake that Mary once suffered from, and also what many older people are still doing every day without even knowing it, is waking up too quickly right after opening your eyes. This seemingly harmless habit is the silent cause of a series of serious health problems, especially in people over the age of 60. After a long night of rest, the body falls into a state of complete relaxation, blood circulation slows down, blood pressure naturally lowers, and muscles and joints also become less flexible. When we wake up and immediately stand up, we are forcing our bodies to switch from a state of deep rest to movement too suddenly. This causes a postural drop in blood pressure, causing blood to not have time to rush to the brain, leading to dizziness, blurred vision, a feeling of unsteadiness, and possibly even fainting in the first few seconds. Mary experienced this the very morning she collapsed in her bedroom. Without feeling tired or showing any unusual signs before, she had just opened her eyes, propped herself up, and got out of bed when everything suddenly went dark. Luckily, she only suffered a minor impact, but that fall was a wake-up call for her to start looking back at how she started each day. Since that time, she learned to wake up more slowly. Every morning, instead of waking up immediately, she takes a few minutes to breathe deeply, gently move her fingers and legs, rotate her wrists and ankles, then slowly turn her body to one side and sit up. She sat still on the edge of the bed for about 30 seconds, feeling the stability of her feet touching the floor, then gently stood up. Just such a small change helped Mary no longer experience morning dizziness. She feels her body is more ready and her mind is more alert right from the first steps of the new day. And most importantly, she no longer fears the suddenness of unforeseen dizziness. If you're used to reflexively waking up every morning, perhaps it's time to learn how to awaken the body before awakening life. Starting the day gently is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to deep self-understanding and love. Second mistake that Mary once considered so normal, that is, do not drink water immediately after waking up. Many of us may also be suffering from this habit without even realizing that our bodies are slightly dehydrated after a long night of deep sleep. The moment you open your eyes, even though you don't feel thirsty, your body is still in a state of dehydration. Breathing during sleep, metabolic activity, blood filtration, and cell regeneration all consume a certain amount of water. And when you step into the morning without timely rehydration, the blood will become thicker, circulation will slow down, and blood pressure will easily fall into an unstable state. In older people, this is especially dangerous because the heart has to work harder to pump blood, and the brain doesn't get enough oxygen at the right time. Mary used to start her day without drinking a drop of water. Sometimes she rushes to make coffee, sometimes she prepares breakfast, and some mornings she simply forgets. She didn't feel thirsty, so she didn't think she needed to drink. But then she often felt a slight headache in the morning. There were times when she was unusually tired, her mind was foggy, and she easily forgot even the smallest things. Until one morning she stood up, dizzy and almost fainted while preparing breakfast in the kitchen. That hospitalization made the doctor discover that Mary did not have any serious illness. It was simply mild dehydration combined with unstable blood pressure. A seemingly small thing was the reason why she lost her balance in her own familiar home. From then on, she started a new habit. Every night before going to bed, she puts a small glass of water next to her bed. And when she woke up, the first thing she did was not get out of bed, but sat up gently, picked up a glass of water, and drank slowly. Some days she adds a few drops of fresh lemon to stimulate digestion and create a pleasant feeling. After just a week, she felt a clear change. Her mind is more alert. The feeling of heaviness in the head or dizziness every morning disappears. She moved gently, felt refreshed, and especially no longer had sudden shocks that made her worried like before. Drinking water in the morning is not just a biological need, but a quiet act of love for your own body. If you're starting your day by checking your phone, making coffee, or rushing out of bed, try stopping for a moment and let a glass of water be the first word you say to your body. Third mistake. What Mary has maintained for decades is the habit of drinking coffee on an empty stomach. For her, a morning cup of coffee is always a ritual to start a new day. The gentle fragrance, familiar bitter taste, and warm feeling spreading in her palms made her feel alert and assured to start her daily work. Since her youth, coffee has been an indispensable part of her life. She still believes that it is what brings her energy and inspiration every morning. But what she didn't know was that at the moment her body just woke up, after many hours of not eating or drinking, her stomach was in an extremely sensitive state. The introduction of coffee, a highly acidic drink, at this time causes the amount of acid in the stomach to suddenly increase without any food layer to protect the mucosa. Over time, this silently irritates and damages the stomach wall, leading to a burning sensation, reflux, bloating, and sometimes vague pain that makes Mary feel uncomfortable all morning. At first, she just thought these were normal symptoms of old age. But then, as the condition lasted, she began to feel less comfortable than before. Once by chance, when she went to see a nutritionist, the doctor pointed out that the habit of drinking coffee on an empty stomach was the cause of the digestive disorder she was experiencing. What surprised her was that with just a small change in that habit, her body would react very positively. From that day on, Mary started eating a little snack before drinking coffee. Some days she eats half a banana, other days a spoonful of yogurt or a slice of wholemeal bread. Even though it's only a small portion, it creates a natural cushion that helps protect the stomach from the direct effects of coffee. After a few days, she noticed she no longer felt nauseous in the morning. Coffee still brings alertness and joy, but no longer comes with the feeling of discomfort or digestive disorders like before. Mary understands that sometimes we don't need to give up our favorite habits. Just do it at the right time, in the right way, and the body will respond with lasting, stable relief. A small change, if made with self-knowledge and love, can open up a new and pleasant start to each day. Fourth mistake. What Mary ignored for many years was not paying attention to the feeling of stiffness and heaviness in her joints and muscles every morning. Like many other elderly people, she often feels a bit heavy in her legs, tense shoulders and neck, and a slight numbness in her back every time she wakes up. However, because she thought it was a normal thing in old age, she still immediately got out of bed, quickly went to the bathroom, or started cleaning as a familiar reflex. That rush made her feel unbalanced and uncomfortable many times, but she still ignored it without asking too many questions. Until one morning when Mary just stood up and took a few steps, her knees suddenly seemed to lock. She staggered and fell onto the edge of the bed. Luckily, there were no serious injuries, but the fall made her panic and begin to lose confidence when she had to wake up on her own in the morning. After that, she began to research and learn that while sleeping, the body is almost motionless for many hours. Blood circulation slows down, joints are not adequately lubricated, muscles are in a state of deep rest. Therefore, standing up and moving as soon as you open your eyes will cause the joints and muscles to not have time to adapt to movement, easily leading to dislocations, cramps, or falling, because the body has not had time to regain balance. Since then, Mary has changed the way she starts her day. Every morning after opening her eyes, she lies still for a few minutes, breathes deeply, gently moves her fingers and toes, and rotates her wrists and ankles. Then she stretched her arms above her head, lengthening her spine, then slowly turned her body to one side and sat up. Once she sat firmly on the edge of the bed, she continued to rotate her shoulders, gently shake her head and tilt her neck to the sides to slowly wake up her joints. Instead of rushing, she begins her day as a gentle and mindful ritual. It only takes a few minutes every morning, but the difference is noticeable. Her steps became more certain, no longer feeling unsteady. She feels her body is more flexible, and most importantly, no longer nervous every time she gets out of bed. Mary realized that when her body speaks up with feelings of tightness and numbness, it is not something to ignore, but a reminder to be heard. A little warm-up, a little gentleness with yourself at the beginning of the day not only helps avoid accidents, but also brings peace of mind and confidence in every movement. Fifth mistake, which Mary had overlooked for many years, turned out to be the most dangerous mistake of all. That's the job. Don't pay attention to your body position when starting a new day. Every morning, after getting out of bed, she often stands up in a slightly bent position, her shoulders drooping, her head bowed forward, and her eyes looking at the floor. It was a familiar gait that she never thought would have so many consequences. For her, the important thing is that she can still stand up and still walk. She never expected that that very posture was silently affecting her breathing, her ability to balance, and her emotions during the day. As time passed, she began to realize that she was more easily tired when moving, sometimes felt her breathing was not deep, other times her mood was inexplicably unstable. Every time I sit down or stand up, I feel slower and heavier than before. It wasn't until she discussed with a friend who is a physical therapist that she truly understood that a wrong posture from the first minutes of the day can directly affect respiratory function, digestion, balance, and even mood. From then on, Mary decided to change the way she got up every morning. After warming up and sitting still on the edge of the bed, she spent a few seconds stretching her spine, pulling her shoulders back, keeping her head straight and eyes horizontal. She took a deep breath, kept her back straight, her feet firmly touching the floor before gently standing up in a steady position. Every first step of the day, she walked with awareness, slowly but steadily. After only a short time, she felt the difference. The feeling of shortness of breath in the morning is no longer there. My steps become lighter. My spirit is also brighter and more relaxed. The most gratifying thing is that she feels like she is no longer easily losing her balance like before. The gait also gradually becomes straighter. The mood becomes fresh and full of vitality. Mary deeply understood that posture is not only the way the body moves, but also the internal image of oneself. A person standing straight, eyes looking forward, and a steady back not only represents physical health, but also a spirit of self-control, optimism, and vitality. Even as age increases day by day, strong posture is still something that each person can maintain if they really listen and take care of themselves from the smallest things. Mary's journey did not start from a major event. but from a seemingly ordinary fall on a very familiar morning. But that moment became the turning point. From a place of worry, lack of confidence, and confusion about her health, she began to return to the most basic things. The way she opened her eyes, the way she sat up, the way she drank water, the way she ate breakfast, and the way she took her first steps of the day. There is no miracle cure. There are no strict exercise regimens. All Mary changed were small habits, quietly and gently, but done regularly with care and understanding for her own body. And it's those small changes that make a big difference. Mary now not only feels healthier, but also more confident, more alert, and more peaceful in every rhythm of her daily life. She is no longer afraid every morning. Instead, she welcomes the new day with full presence, both physically and mentally. Mary's story is a gentle but profound reminder that we don't need to wait until our bodies speak to start caring. Every morning is a new opportunity to do something good for yourself, whether it's just a deep breath, a sip of water at the beginning of the day, or a steady step. No matter what age you are, no matter what your health is today, you always have the right to choose again. Every small action you take with respect for yourself is a promise to the future, a future where you can live with freedom, steadfastness, and completeness. Because sometimes what makes the difference isn't the big things, but how you start your morning. And who knows, tomorrow, with a little gentle change, will become the first day of your own new journey.